What if it was possible to have local, fresh groceries delivered right to your door? Think of all the free time you'd have. Well, Instacart gives unlimited grocery delivery for one low monthly fee. Forgot that special ingredient in your favorite dish? Instacart can deliver it to your front door in as fast as 1 hour. You can shop multiple stores, see deals in your area, and save time and money. I've been using Instacart for over 3 years. I started using them in Arizona, and I'm using them here in Florida. I love the time-saving convenience. They pick the freshest products, and they keep my eggs safe too. To receive your first delivery free, follow the link in the show notes so that Instacart knows that we sent you and to help support the show. Instacart. Never step foot in a grocery store again. Welcome to Empowered Within, a soul-quenching, transformational podcast that will set your soul on fire through candid and inspiring conversations. Leading experts, celebrities, healers, and I share our journeys of how we've overcome challenges to living an empowered life from within. I'm your host, Jennifer Pilates. Welcome to another episode of Empowered Within. Hi there, and welcome to the show. Today's guest is Megan Snedden. Megan is the founder of The Kind Effect. She travels the world performing good deeds for strangers and making videos about heartwarming moments to uplift humanity with joy and kindness. Megan lost her father in a plane crash around 10 years ago, which also came on the heels of her losing her brother to a car accident when she was younger. The subsequent events and mental health issues brought her to rock bottom, but the adversity didn't destroy her. Learning to find happiness in despair led her to random acts of kindness, which she has turned into a movement that has inspired millions of people. In addition to performing good deeds, she helps others create a sense of self-empowerment and improved mental health through the power of kindness. She has been featured on KTLA, Roku TV, and Good Morning La La Land. Welcome to the show, Megan. I'm so excited to have you.
I am beyond excited to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. And first and foremost, I'm so sorry about the loss of your dad and your brother. I know that was just terrible, trying times for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really strange because today is actually the 32-year anniversary of my brother's passing. And when I say 32 years out loud, it just feels so strange because there's this weird disconnect between when you go through a loss, when the event actually happened, and then present day, where it honestly just feels like it was yesterday. So, but it sounds like an incredible amount of time.
It does.
But thank you. I really appreciate that.
It does. Absolutely. So after everything that you've been through, how did you find happiness in despair? Because there's so many people, right, who are in that moment going, really, Megan? But you've done it.
I get it.
And you've done it, and you've brought this joy to around the world. What brought you to this point?
Well, I think that you really have to arrive at rock and say to yourself, where do I go from here? Because when I have multiple times reached rock bottom and ask myself, where do I go from here? It's kind of like you have two choices. Either you give up and surrender to that feeling and either trudge on in misery, or you find a way to develop strength within yourself and use what resources you have to find a way forward. And for me, the answer was kindness. I think because kindness has a forgiveness element to it, which has played a really big role in my recovery from loss. And also it has this component of just being able to reaffirm for yourself that you have a purpose on the planet. I don't know about you, but in the times that I've reached the lowest of lows, there's been this hopelessness or this feeling of like, what is the point of it all? And really, I think when we get there, we get the opportunity to answer that question for ourselves and find a reason to be here. And we get to create it for ourselves.
Totally. What pulled you out of the rock bottom to help you find this incredible movement that you've created?
Yeah. I mean, I think when we're talking about pulling ourselves out of rock bottom, I think you really have to take a multi-pronged approach, because for me, it was like rock bottom, and so I was going to therapy. I was really leaning hard on my close connections to give me encouragement. And I just I started to go for walks, and walking to me is so helpful because at this lowest of low, what I would rather do, I think, is just curl up and stay in bed and just get hugged. But just subtle movement helped a lot. And when I was on these walks, sometimes I would start picking flowers, and then the picking flowers led to me like giving these little miniature bouquets to people as I was walking. And I kind of noticed that, I guess that's a random act of kindness, right? And I noticed that I would just get this subtle uplift when I would have these positive interactions with people again. And it really helped break me out of the isolation that I was kind of engaging in. And then before I knew it, giving out little bouquets of flowers led to engaging with store clerks at grocery stores and like buying them candy bars, or randomly giving people compliments, or randomly checking in with friends or people in my life have checked in. And so it just over time snowballed into this greater sensation of connectivity with other people, positive experiences with other people, a greater sensation of meaning in life. And it is the sum of the small things on a regular basis that I think that eventually lifts us out of the darkness.
That's amazing. And gosh, we need so much more of that in this world every day. Like seriously, every day. We do.
Because it does so much for us as individuals, and it does so much for other people, and it does so much for the collective society as well.
Absolutely. So would you say that those moments when you were picking the flowers and giving those to others, was that the inspiration behind the kind movement that you've started?
It was part of it. Yeah. I mean, I was engaging all these random acts of kindness. And so some of my friends would like go on walks with me, and they would see me have these interactions with people. And they would say, oh my gosh, like, and I always just thought it was really weird. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody about me doing these things because I just think it's so bizarre. But then friends started hurting me. They're like, look, you're like, the world is in need of more positive content. We need somebody putting things up there in the news and content mill that are more uplifting to watch. Like, you should start making videos about this. And I thought they were crazy at first until I finally worked up the strength to be like, okay, I'm going to record maybe one video. And I did. I recorded one video about kindness. And when I put it out there, it went viral. It was shocking, absolutely shocking. But what that signaled to me was, wow, like the world really does need more of this. And I think I'm nobody, but I guess maybe I somebody that's out there doing it. So I started with just one video, and then I made another, and then I dared myself to make another. And before you feel like I was making videos and had come up with that title, and then it became like a whole thing. You know, I think the greatest part about life is the stuff that we just don't see coming at all. Like I never was like, oh, I'm going to become the founder of a movement and start doing this thing. Like it never occurred to me at all. It was like something that was my private, personal practice that suddenly became public. And now I'm on a podcast talking about it. It just blows my mind.
I bet. So with that, how has this act of kindness, how has this effect in this movement? How has this changed your life overall?
It's everything to me, really. I have on again off and had a struggle with the trauma that I have been through. I don't think you just go through trauma once, grieve it, and then it's over. You know, like there are multiple resurgences at different stages of your life, and that's totally normal. And any time that I return to the bottom, I've really found myself when I lean harder on kindness and random acts of kindness. And I've found more compassion for myself and my life and what I'm going through when I lean more on, again, able to look at others through the same lens. Like, wow, you know what is going on in somebody's life, you know?
That's so true. So you wrote, "Have we made purpose unattainable?" And I would love for you to share what brought you to that sentence when you wrote that.
Sure, absolutely. And thanks for bringing that up. That's very nice. That's that. I think, you know, I've traveled extensively. I've been to 40 different countries. And when you travel a lot, it opens your mind a lot to how other people and other cultures and societies are doing things. And I really think that in the United States or maybe in North America, we put purpose on a pedestal. It's become this really like lofty, elevated thing. Even the word success kind of freaks me out because it's just so big and overwhelming. Because when I think people hear purpose or success, I think they think of lots of money, big flashy cars, big giant movements, entrepreneurship at its peak. And I think that honestly, we have put this on this unattainable pedestal that when you're in a down place and you're wondering, what is the purpose of my life and what is the purpose of my existence? You can almost end up in a worse state when you look up and you see all these people on social media, like top peak performer, compare yourself. But I don't think that purpose has to be to the state that we put it at, where you're just like, wow, I could never reach or attain that. And that's the whole reason why I promote random acts of kindness, because it is some of the small things that makes the greatest difference overall to yourself and to others. And that is how you achieve purpose, is just doing small things on a regular basis. And I think that you start to see those changes around you and internally as well.
I agree. And for someone who goes, well, how, like, I get that you started by picking flowers, but what if I wanted to start this today? Maybe if I did something kind for someone else. What is another example that you would give to someone to say, okay, here's this basic thing that you could do, and this could make all the difference in your day?
There's so many. And honestly, again, I just want to emphasize that it's small, basic things, but kindness more than anything is an intention. It's like, I'm going to set 15 minutes aside to actually take action and do something. So sometimes I love to go to like Trader Joe's when flowers are really cheap, buy a bouquet of flowers, then just randomly give them to people. I love going to grocery stores and buying the grocery store clerk candy bar in the aisle. I love doing the Thought of Me Rolodex, where I look at my contact list and I'm like, who could I reach out to today, either by like text or phone call, not and say, hey, I've been thinking about you. I know that you had X going on in your life and I wanted to follow up on how it's going for you. You know, like more intention around checking each other. I love handing compliments and just seeing how people light up around that. I think that the possibilities.
They truly are. And I'm glad that you shared those, because those are all really fun things that, you know, anyone can really do. And it's the little things. I mean, letting someone out in front of you at a red light, like, you know.
Exactly. I personally love leaving my house 15 minutes before I think that I'm going to, so that I give myself an extra space cushion so that I can either let people in front of me, or if someone's in a hurry, just being like, I'm not in a rush, they can their thing, you know, so that I can show up in person for other people.
That's really cool. I love that. So I really want to hear about this aha moment of learning that kindness and self-love fit together. And I want to hear about how it happened, where it happened, when it happened.
I think the aha moment that my needed to change was very deep in the grief process of my go-to, but honestly, like plate of brownies, popping a Xanax, and just having a prep fest. And I caught a glimpse in the mirror when that was happening once. And I was, wow, this is like the lowest that you've been, the lowest that you've ever been. And this needs to change. Even if like something needs to change. In therapy, I constantly had the reminder, just again, like subtle things start to shift. And for example, exercise is very good for our mental health, but I've been depressed in certain times of my life. Going to the gym was just awful. And so just going for these little meditative walks was very, very helpful. And in these walks, I would just, you know, think through things a little bit. And I would try out different positive affirmations, or I would relive the things that I learned in therapy. And I would notice, you know, for as much as I am showing grace to other people, like that's how I need to show up for myself, to allow myself to get messy and for that to be okay. for me to, if I'm going to be kind to others, then I need to intentionally go out of my way and ask myself questions of like, what do you need right now? What would really serve you? Because ultimately I learned that the more you fill up your own and are more loving towards yourself, like the more energy and power that you give back to other people. Because when I've been empty and depleted, like I just show up for others as well.
Are you ready to lose inches, increase strength, and tone your body from head to toe? Are you ready for a total body, mind, and spirit transformation? I am excited to announce that I am launching my exclusive 8-week Pilates Return to Life training program. This will give you an opportunity to have a total body, mind, and spirit transformation of health and wellness to a new lifestyle. Imagine in 7 days you will feel a difference, in 14 days you will see a difference, and in 8 weeks you will have your new Pilates body. So what do you say? Want to join me on the mat? Head over to jenniferpilates.com today. Space is limited. Use a special promo code EW and the word special, EW special, to receive $200 off while space is available. Head on over to jenniferpilates.com and I'll see you on the mat. Totally. Besides some of the things, like let's just take today, for instance, because today is a really big day for you. So what is Megan going to do to take care of herself today? Because you take care of everyone else with all of your beautiful kindness. What are you going to do for you today?
Sure. I already had a moment where I just kind of stepped outside and had some quiet. The sun came out after the rain, which I think is really symbolic. And I love this kind of meditation that I therapy as well that's been really helpful, which is it's a very like sensory focused meditation. So stepping outside and like turning my face toward the sun, and you go through all the sensations. So yourself, like what feel, you tell yourself what's the warmth of the sun, and I can see the sun through my eyes, and what do you smell, and what do you taste, and what do you feel, and what do you also feel like emotionally, and just kind of like paying attention to yourself. I think even just calling our awareness to our feelings and just taking a moment to acknowledge it is really helpful. And in days like today where I be in a little bit of like emotional pain, I feel bad, just being able to put a name to feelings helps. So I'm trying today to just mix in moments where I think about my brother and the time together, think about my feelings. I might even go on a beach walk later, just trying to find the simple things that bring me peace.
And honoring yourself is so important, and honoring how you feel. I love that you shared that sensory meditation. That's a beautiful, beautiful way. I'm a huge walker myself, and I use that as meditation at least once to twice a day.
I love that. And again, some of the things that I share, I think it's just about the small things, none of this is genius work, but you really can do yourself a tremendous benefit by to step outside, to breathe, and to feel and notice your feelings. I think that's just the best place to start.
I agree wholeheartedly. Tell me about when you were spending time with monks.
Monastery.
A monastery. There we go.
Yes, that was wild. I had the opportunity to travel to Myanmar with a friend. And I guess always when I'm traveling, I'm trying to think of like, what is something fine that I can do for people who live in the place that I'm visiting that also resonates with them. And in Myanmar, there's this specific monastery where there are thousands of monks that live. And a lot of times monks in other countries turn to monasteries because they just are unable to support themselves and get their basic needs met. And if they stay at the monastery, then they're able to get food, water, shelter, clothing, the things that they need. Also, your dollar goes very far. So spending $35 on a huge bag of rice feeds hundreds of people. So a girlfriend and I went a rice shop, huge bag of rice. We rode a tuk-tuk over to this monastery and were able to deliver it to them. We met some of the higher monks and did like a blessing ceremony over the rice as we donated. And it was just this really beautiful thing. And it was really meaningful to know that, the $35 could go such a long way to support other people.
Absolutely. What an incredible experience.
Yeah, it was really unbelievable.
So through everything that you have been through, what do you feel to date, because you have plenty more coming, is your biggest wow, I just had no idea moment out of everything that has come to life for you?
Yeah. When we're talking about grief and the phases of grief, I never knew that depression would be part of my journey. I think because it's so stigmatized and it's like nobody wants to say the D word, And I really, when I finally went through that myself, I never knew how hard it was to get out of it, because it's not like you just wake up and you're depressed. It is a downward spiral into the muck in order to get out. You really have to take this multi-tiered approach, incorporating a lot of different things in order to do that. And it wouldn't be just the things that you might hear about, like to exercise, do therapy, or do medication, your journey in order doing those things at the same time. And I never imagined it would be the thing that would save me from that. Engaging in regular random activities would help with me little by little, because it answered the question, what am I doing here on earth? Do I matter? And what is my purpose? And little by little, as I engaged in more acts, I was able to get the message needed reinstilled for me, like what I do matters, my life matters, the little things, the big difference, and we can really go there together.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That is so beautiful and so important. And I love how you intertwined that, yes, depression is real. Sometimes it does take medication and therapy and everything to get out of it. But the key is that you fought the good fight to get out of it and found what works for you. And someone else can find something that may work for them. And maybe this is the key. Maybe they've tried everything and they're like, well, I'm going to give this kindness thing, I'm going to give it a shot. And maybe that's what saves them today.
Yeah, maybe. I think when you get to that point, you really need to be able to save yourself.
Right. Exactly. Do you think that would be considered like saving yourself through helping others? Like saving yourself through that kindness?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Megan, we are getting to this point in the show where I ask this one question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is one thing that maybe no one knows about Megan?
Oh my gosh. That I like travel because it is so hard. I think the way that we convey travel on Instagram, it'll look really bright, flashy, and fun. But I mean, to me, travel is all about growth and self-development. When we put ourselves out there into the unknown, we learn things about ourselves. Next, we learn about the world, and we to really come to terms with our biases and our prejudices and confront those in real time to find the strength in ourselves to overcome really complex challenges. And that's what I really love. I love being a little problem solver and wandering around the world and finding problems, basically.
That's fabulous. So tell me, where is your next wandering adventure going to take you?
Portugal.
How amazing.
Portugal. I don't know if you've ever been to Portugal.
I've not.
It is a beautiful and amazing place.
I've seen pictures and I know a lot of people from Portugal, but I've never been myself. So when are you headed and why? What do you plan on doing when you're there?
I am leaving in probably 4 days. So very, very, so excited. I am just really evoked by sensory detail. And Lisbon is one of my favorite cities in the world. Very, very sensory. It's so colorful. And I think what I plan to do is just walk around and enjoy it. They have these little pastries called pastel de nata. They're like little pie. So I live my best life. Just walk the cobblestone streets and listen to the trolleys rolling by, taking in the multicolored buildings and just eating a pastel de nata. I think that's the spot for me.
That sounds pretty sweet. Oh my gosh, how amazing. Megan, this has been so much fun. I'm so honored that you are here today, and I'm so honored that you have been willing to share your journey, the ups, the downs, and bringing us back to what truly matters, which is love and kindness for ourselves. So thank you so much for that.
I appreciate that. You've been a great listener.
Thank you. And will you please tell our audience, where can they connect with you more?
If you go to thekindeffect.com, I have a bunch of freebies on there. I have a free kindness challenge. I also have a free ebook called The Change Makers Action Plan. And if not, you can also watch kindness content on the Kind Effect.
How fun. Well, as we close out the show today, what is one last piece of inspiration that you would like to leave with us?
I think, just say that you are stronger than you.
Perfect. Well said. Well, as always, all of Megan's contact information will be over in the show notes over on jenniferpilates.com. Thank you again so much, Megan, and I'm wishing you safe, amazing travels.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Well, as we say, until next time, may you live an empowered life from within. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying about the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within.